Boom. All right. So, guys, here's the deal. For some of you, you have found that this has become a valuable resource for you as you are trying to juggle 7 or 8 classes, depending on what you do with seminary, and trying to keep on top of things, and you've got sports and drama and all these other things, and you're going, holy smokes, and it's just so good to know that things aren't catching you off guard. But guys, with that said, and with the understanding that you remember 0 about the disclosure document, right? We need to talk. So guys, Thursday is your first test in this class. And tests bring deadlines. So let's talk about this, and then guys, I'll share with you more about what we're doing today. So guys, when I see you on Thursday morning, assuming the bells work, which probably isn't going to be the case, but guys, when the bell rings, a whole lot of things start happening, and I don't want this to get you by surprise. So guys, when the bell rings at 8:45 Thursday morning, the first thing you need to know is this: you're done turning in homework. And guys, let me explain to you the logic. So guys, we don't give you busy work. You've had 3 homework assignments in this unit, and every one of those assignments is on the test. So if you want to get ready for the test, you need to do the homework. So why is the deadline for late homework the test? Because if you're doing the homework after you've taken the test, you're not running after understandings, you're running after points. And we don't play those games. So guys, when the bell rings at 7:45, you're done, and there's nothing that you can do to turn those zeros into other scores. We're done. So, with that said, guys, if you have zeros in the grade book, because we're done with homework for this unit, if you've got zeros, you need to come in today during flex, tomorrow morning. You could try to run by tomorrow right after 4th period, see if you can catch me. You can come Thursday morning before school. But guys, do not walk in the door as the bells ring and say, here's my homework. Because when the bell rings, we're done. And I'm not going to scramble to get your stuff recorded. So guys, we need to get this stuff done. Now you're aware and you know. So, guys, then the other thing that's going to happen on Thursday is we're going to take our first unit test of the year. And I understand that first tests in all of your classes can be a little spooky. You've never taken a test in this class. You don't know what to expect. You're like, oh my gosh, what is this going to be like? And guys, we're going to spend the rest of the day today, and we are going to talk about not only what's the test going to be about, but also how to study for tests in all of your science classes and maybe even other classes as well. So guys, questions about the homework and stuff? And you understand that your labs are due on Thursday, so if you're scrambling to finish them, you can slow down because you still have 2 days. You guys okay? Okay, so here's what you need to do. Guys, grab the sheet of paper that you grabbed and grab that piece of paper that I handed you, and I'm going to get rid of this. And I'm going to get rid of this, and I'm going to get rid of this, and I'm going to get rid of this, and I'm going to grab this. Maybe. Come on. All right, here we go. So, guys, the date today is the 13th, but it's not a Friday, so we're not going to die. And, guys, the topic for your notes today is testing in this class and test study strategies. This is going to take us about 35 minutes. And then, guys, you are going to have the better part of half an hour to finish up your labs, study for this test, get late homework done, all sorts of productive stuff. So again, guys, we're going to start by talking about what does this test look like. And then we're going to have an interesting other conversation. You guys all ready to go? So, guys, I really would love to see hands. If you would be brave. So, guys, you've been doing education, public education, for 10, 11, or 12 years. Here's my question for you. Other than your AP classes don't count. If you wouldn't mind, I'd really be interested. How many of you have ever had a teacher that's actually taken the time to teach you how to study for tests? One? Guys, do you understand how disgusting that is? All of your teachers have said to you at some point in your life, hey guys, there's a test next time, study for it. As if we all have this genetic thing in our brains that goes, oh, I was just born with the ability to study for tests. So guys, everybody asks you to do it. Your grades hinge on it, and nobody's ever spent the time to teach you how. Guys, I would say that's academic malpractice. Your teachers are asking you to do something and they've never showed you how to do it. So guys, we're going to change that. I'm going to share with you research-supported ideas about how to study for tests, and then specifically how to study for tests that happen on third floor, math and science tests. Some of this works in English, not as well. It works a little better in history. But guys, I'm going to teach you how to study for tests. If you don't want to do this, it's fine. If you've got your own systems, that's great. But guys, if we're being honest about this, and I actually used to do this. You guys would come in, and it just made me sick, so I don't do it anymore. But guys, what I used to do is I used to lie to my students. I'm like, all right, guys, good morning. Glad you're here. Test is on Thursday. And Miss Collin, I decided to give you the entire class period to study for the test. So we're going to be quiet. We're going to work on our own. And guys, you know I have 70 minutes to study for the test. And then I just go sit at my computer and start working. And there was that awkward couple minutes where kids are like, really? And then I would just kind of keep my straight face, and then they'd realize, oh crap, he's serious. And guys, this is what invariably would happen. My students would reach into their backpacks and they would grab their chemistry binders, those that have a binder. Some of you, your crap's just shoved in there and you don't know where it is. But guys, they grab their chemistry binders and they would open it up and they would go to their class notes and they would just start reading their class notes. And they'd read through their class notes, and then they'd finally get back to homework, and they would start reading their homework. And guys, I let my students get about 5 or 7 minutes into this, and finally I just had to say, guys, what you're doing is the dumbest possible thing you could do to study for a test, and knock it off. But guys, the reality of it is, being honest, right? That's what you would have done as well, right? To study for a test, you would have grabbed your binders and you would have started reading. And guys, at the end of the day, that is such a waste of time and it doesn't work. So we're going to fix that. So with that said, guys, I would encourage you to write down what seems worthy of writing down. And I do not think this is worthy of writing down, but I've got to put it in writing so there's no confusion. Does anybody not understand this? You guys good? Okay, 7:45 Thursday, you're done. Guys, with that said, I'm going to tell you all about the test that you're going to take on Thursday. I don't know if you need to write this down, but it's totally up to you. So guys, every test that you take in this class will be a blending of bubble sheet stuff and free response stuff. So the bubble sheet stuff is multiple choice, matching, fill in the blank where the answers are given. But guys, it's all graded on the bubble sheet. Then the second part of the test is always free response. That is the AP term for handwritten stuff. But guys, I've already told you what the handwritten stuff is, right? What's the last page of the test? This. It's the density lab, right? You guys are going to go, didn't I tell you this? Did I tell you this? Guys, you're going to go into lab on Thursday without your lab partner, and you are going to be given a solid or a liquid, and you are going to gather the data that you need to find its mass, its volume, its density, and then calculate a percent error. So guys, that will be the free response section of the test. So you've got multiple choice, and then you've got the free response, which is in lab, and that will be the test. So, guys, as we then dig deeper into what our tests look like, every test will be worth 100 points for the whole year. It doesn't mean there's 100 questions, but what we do is we take your score, we convert it to an average out of 100, and that's what goes in the book. So every test is worth 100 points. Now, guys, here's the deal. Everything that is going to be on this test can be loosely broken into two categories. And I'm going to explain to you in a minute where this comes from, but let me just tell you right now. So guys, on our tests, you are going to see what are called essentials. Guys, that is a word that we're going to be using over and over and over again. Essentials. And guys, let me explain to you what this means. An essential skill or concept is something that if you don't understand it, you're stuffed for the rest of the year. An example is significant digits. If you can't do significant digits, not only are you going to struggle on this test, you're going to struggle on every test. That's essential. But then, guys, there's other stuff that isn't essential, like qualitative data. Do you need to know what it is? Yeah. Will you fail the next test if you don't know it? No. That's not essential. So guys, we've got essentials, the things that you've got to know, and then we've got material that's interesting and will be on the test, but it's not critical. So guys, why are we talking about this? And here's why. Guys, in order to get an A on the test, you have got to know all of this. You've got to know the essentials, and you've got to know the material that's not essential, but it is important to the unit. And I know from working with you, a lot of you are like, hey, my goal is A's. I want to thrive. Because if you want an A on the test, you need to know all of this stuff. And we'll talk more about that in a minute. But guys, understand, you don't have to have an A average in the class in the test in order to get an A in the class. If your lab work is solid and if your homework is turned in on time, it's typically about an 86 or 87% average. If you have a B to high B test average, you can still get an A in the class. And you guys know this, right? What's the cutoff for an A at Orem High? Do you know? It's 94. That's the district-wide grading standard. And do you know that we dropped it to 92? We lowered the bar for an A. So it's about an 86, 87% test average. If your other work is good, you can get an A in the class. So guys, any questions about any of this? You ready to sort of swallow hard? Guys, there are no retakes in this class. We do not do retests. I know that in many of your worlds this feels like child abuse. But guys, let me explain why. Miss Call and I have been doing this for a long time, and we're good at what we do. And guys, as scientists, we collect data. And I think a lot of you from experience will resonate with this. Guys, we did retests. For a long, long time, we did retests. But we started to collect data. We took people's first test score, and then we took their retest score, and guess what we were finding? More than 50% of students that took the retest did the same or worse on the retest. And we went and we asked them why. What happened? And they said two things. One, they said, it's been weeks since I did the material the first time. I didn't remember it. Studying didn't help, and I did worse. But guys, the one that caught our attention was this. We had a lot of students that came back to us and they said, the reason that I did worse on the test is because there's so much material on the test that I still couldn't figure out how to understand it all. And that got us thinking. And guys, what that got us thinking was, if our kids are not being successful because there's too much stuff, what if we narrow down the amount of stuff? And guys, that's what we've done. You will never take a second test over the whole unit. Don't try to write this down. But guys, instead, here's what we do. At the end of the day, you need to know the essentials. That's the critical stuff. You will be crippled later if you don't know it. So what we do is this. If you don't do well on the first test, we're going to help you figure out which of the essentials you don't know. Then we're going to let you relearn them. Then we're going to let you take a mini test that only covers the essentials. And when you do well on that test, your grade goes up. Doesn't mean you're going to get an A. Guys, if you're really like, I need an A in this class, it's got to be first go. But guys, understand, and it's not like you got to be perfect all the time. If you get A's on, like we usually do 3 tests a quarter, if you get A's on 2 and then have to do the essentials test on 1, you'll typically be okay. But guys, understand, if you're really thinking A in this class, don't count on the retest. It may not get you there. So we identify the essentials that you don't know, and then we help you figure them out. So guys, how do we do that? Well, I should stop. Is this all okay? Does this make sense? Okay, so how do we do that? And the answer is this. Guys, don't obviously write this down, but I'm going to tell you up front right now. Guys, these are the essentials on Thursday's test. If any of these are a surprise to you, you're not paying attention. So guys, significant digits and using them, estimation, mass by difference, and calculating density, and then percent error. Guys, those are the things that you've got to know for the rest of the year. So here's what's going to happen. You take the test Thursday, you'll probably get it back the next Wednesday, maybe Monday, we'll see. But guys, when you get your test back, you're going to get this sheet of paper. And together, we are going to rip your test apart, and we're going to help you figure out what of the essentials you do know and what of the essentials you don't know. And then guys, this is where this gets good. If you circle yes the whole way down this column, or if you circle no's, guys, this is where the magic happens. So what you're going to do is you're going to write your test score on this line. And here's our thinking. If you get better than an 85%, you crush the test. If you get less than 85%, there might be room for improvement. And then guys, it goes like this. If you mastered all of the essentials, and if you got better than 85%, that would be a test that you want to take home and put on your refrigerator because you killed it. Other than we don't give you your test back. But guys, what if it's this? What if you got all the essentials, but you got less than 85? And guys, the answer is this. There's no reason for you to relearn the essentials because you already know them. So what we do is we give you a grade bump or extra credit simply based upon the fact that you know all the essentials. Your grade goes up and you don't have to do anything. Now guys, what if you're down here? What if you didn't master all the essentials, but what if you did good on the test? That probably means that you made stupid mistakes. You're like, oh crap, I forgot those zeros were significant. Guys, typically this takes care of itself, and if you need help, I'd be happy to help. But guys, this is the magic of the process. What if you don't do well on the test, less than 85, and what if you don't know all the essentials? And guys, you know this feeling. A teacher sets a test down in front of you, you don't do well on the test, and your brain starts thinking, I'm stupid, I'm never going to be good at this, I'm bad at science, I'm not a good learner, all this stuff in your head. And then the next thing that goes through your head is, and I'm going to be in trouble for the rest of the year because I'm already behind. Because you will never have that experience in this class. Because here's what happens. Not only are you going to know specifically what you don't know, but you're going to have the chance to fix it. And you are going to engage in a days-long process, not tons of hours, but it's spread out over days. You are going to engage in a process that will reteach you only the essentials and reinforce it and get you direct teacher support. And then you come back and take a little itty-bitty test that only covers the essentials. And if you get an 80% or better on that test, you demonstrated mastery, your grades go up, and you're ready to move forward. Not bad, right? Guys, Miss Call and I have been working on this program for years, and we have it dialed in so tight that the only way that you can screw this up is if you don't care and you don't participate, because you have no idea the levels of support that are available. It's life-changing stuff. So, guys, we're going to go over this more when you get your test back, but that's the deal. So, guys, any questions about the test? Any questions? I know that was really fast. Questions about how we do, about how we analyze tests? You're okay? Okay. So, guys, we got about 15 more minutes and we're done. And it goes like this. So, test on Thursday, hopefully not Wednesday night, but let's be real. Guys, you decide that you're ready to study for the test. Here's the question. How can you go from this to actually being an effective test studier? So guys, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you the research. If you don't like it, that's fine. But guys, what I'm going to share with you is research-tested principles that'll help you study for tests. We're going to dig into this. If you have thoughts or questions, let me know. If you don't care, put down your head and take a nap. I don't care. But guys, we're going to talk about how to study for tests. So first of all, a list of general ideas. If you want to write them down, you can. So guys, the first thing that you need when you're starting to study for a test is you need a quiet place. And you're going, wait a second, I live in Utah County. I have 17 brothers and sisters. I have no idea what quiet looks like. Henry's going, yeah. So guys, where do you go? And I'm not asking this rhetorically. Where do you go to get quiet? Actually, I was going to recommend it. Guys, Starbucks, and actually there's other places, JJ, coffee shops. Guys, coffee shops, especially in the evening, are great places to study. Where am I? I especially recommend the Starbucks by University Mall because in the evenings, if you've ever been there, you've seen this. About 8 o'clock, that place fills up with UVU students, and all of them are earbuds in, nose in a book, or staring at a computer, and they're all studying. Guys, and it's actually kind of a great environment because you're surrounded by people that are studying, and yet there's just enough noise that it's not distractingly quiet. So, but here's the deal. If you're going to go to a coffee shop, buy something. It's not cool to take a table and not give them any money because they're a business, but I agree. Great place to study. Guys, other ideas on quiet places to study? Yeah. Libraries are good, but here's my problem with libraries. The Orem Library closes at what? Our high school, like at 2:30? I don't know, 3 maybe? I don't know. What about the Orem Public Library? Good place to study, but it closes at like 8. And guys, if we're being real, 8 o'clock is when you start to study and not when you're done studying. So guys, where do you find a library that's open during the hours where you're actually studying? UVU. Go down to UVU. The library is right next to the McKay Event Center. They have so much parking down there. The ticket trolls aren't ticketing at night, so you can park where you shouldn't be and you won't get ticketed. And they don't know that you're not a student. They don't care. Anybody can walk into the UVU library, but you guys know this about university libraries, that they're stacked on top of each other. You guys understand this? When you walk into the library, what you want to do is you want to find the directory. And it says like first floor, reference, second floor, fiction, whatever. But guys, it'll also say this. First floor is loud, second floor is quiet, third floor is loud, fourth floor is quiet, and so on. So guys, university libraries designate quiet floors and talking floors. And you need to figure out what, if you're there with a group, don't go to a quiet floor because the kids on the quiet floor will kill you if you make a noise. So if you want to talk, go to a talking floor. But guys, look for the directory and find out what's what. So guys, other quiet places you go to study? I had people yesterday tell me, and it's kind of sad, they go and sit in their car out in the driveway. It's not bad. It would work, I guess, until it's dark. Guys, other ideas on quiet places? Okay, it's a good start. Then guys, this, you need materials. For this class, you need the following things. Again, write them down if you want. These are also posted online if that's easier for you. So obviously you need a place to write. You need your chem binder. If you're in a class that has a chemistry book, bring it. In here we don't use a book, but you have your binders. You're going to need a calculator, a periodic table. And then guys, internet access is great. With that said, if you try to stream our screencasts on your phone, be careful. Guys, they are uncompressed. They're huge. They're like gigabyte files. I don't do any post on these things. I just literally post the raw MP4s. And so guys, if you try to stream these and if you don't have unlimited data, you're going to cap your data plan really quickly. So if you're going to try to stream our screencasts, make sure that it's not going to cost you money. So we're going to have these things. Now guys, we're going to talk about some research and what we know. So guys, should you study with friends? Yes or no? Yes? No? Yeah? Guys, the answer is yes, but not at first. And we're going to talk in a minute. When you're studying for the test, you should never start in a group. I'll explain more in a minute. But guys, the research says studying in groups is good. There's a psychological term for it. It's called cognitive constructivism, and actually social constructivism. What it means is that when we are with people socially and cognitively engaged, we construct understandings, and we know that it works. So guys, you do want to be in groups, but not at first. I'll explain more. Guys, what about music? Should you listen to music when you study? Yes or no? The answer is yes. Guys, they find through research that music stimulates the parts of your brain that are involved with attention, retention, and memory. And so, guys, you do want to study with music on. But there's this lie filtering through our schools that says classical music is what you should listen to. Guys, that is not true. There's nothing about classical music. Here's what we do know. Guys, when you're studying and listening to music, it doesn't matter the genre. It has to be familiar. So if you listen to classical music, listen to classical music. But here's what you're looking for. You are looking for that playlist that you are so familiar with that if you don't shuffle it, you know the next song that's coming minutes before it pops up. Know what I'm talking about? That's the playlist that you want, because that will drop into the background really quickly and you can attend to what you're doing. But guys, let's be real about this. Where does your music come from? Here? And guys, here's the deal. This is your sworn enemy when you're studying. And I know this, put away your phones. I don't get into that. But guys, seriously, if you really want to study, you've got a discipline to get this thing, the stink, away from you. So if you're going to use this for music, you want to put it on a long enough cord or get your Bluetooth earbuds. Guys, you got to get this away. And you know darn well if this is in your pocket, even if you silence it, it's going to start tickling your leg. And that is irresistible. You've got to get that. It doesn't matter if you miss your B-reel. You'll be fine. Get this thing away from you. Seriously, get it. We'll talk more about how to do that well. But guys, it can't even be in your pocket because you're going to be like, oh crap, I gotta go. So, guys, what about this? Food. Should you eat and drink while you're studying? That's a good point. See, the reason that I'm torn is the UVU library has a cafe in it. I think it's even a Starbucks. I don't know. I know that used to be the case, but I'm not sure any. Check and see. I know you can have water bottles. And frankly, if you're just stuffing candies in your mouth, you don't want to have like a dinner buffet, but I think you'd be fine. Guys, here's what we know about food and drink. And some of this is going to be controversial. Hear me out. But guys, first of all, food. Fats, proteins, and sugars. Only one of those helps you study. Which one? Sugars. Guys, do not load up on fats or proteins when you're studying. Do you guys know about parasympathetic nervous system? Sorry. It's that part of your primordial brain that says, I just ate and I'm safe and now I can rest and digest. It's called your parasympathetic nervous system. And guys, if you're loaded up on fats and carbs, fats and proteins, your body goes, hey, I'm okay. I can relax. You know, at Thanksgiving, you go into a turkey coma. That's what's happening. And you don't want that when you're studying. But guys, the other thing too is, do you know that your brain cannot process fats and proteins? The fuel for your brain is sugar, and that's what you want. You want to be loading up on carbs. That's why during the ACT, are any of you seniors and you already did this? Guys, we were throwing Rice Krispie treats and gummy bears at you, right? That's why. We want to hop y'all up on sugar while you're taking the ACT because it helps you do better on the test. So guys, you want sugars. Now we got to talk about the controversial thing. Guys, what about caffeine? And guys, I know that there are social stigmas in this area about caffeine, especially when it's hot and black. But guys, understand the research is the research. Caffeine helps you study. That said, do not go home tonight and say, hey, Knappenberger told me that I need to go down to Starbucks and have a double cappuccino because the test is on Thursday. That is not what I'm telling you. Starbucks could be a quiet place. Caffeine does help you study. But guys, if your moral and your religious foundations are way more important than sacrificing for this. But if caffeine is a part of your routine, it does help you study. But you got to be careful. Guys, if you sit down to study at 8 p.m. and you start knocking back monsters, you're done. Your brain's going to be active, but guess what you can't do? Go to sleep. And guys, sleep is critical. So don't go from 0 to Red Bulls, right? Guys, caffeine in moderation helps, but again, moderation. Then guys, what about exercise? The obvious answer is yes. You don't want to go out and go on a run that wrecks you. So if you're not an exercise person, go for a walk, get some fresh air. But guys, it's a great way to spend your breaks. Get up, move around. We'll talk about, I think we talk about breaks next. Yeah, breaks. So guys, obviously you want to take breaks when you're studying. The research is unclear on this. The thing we do know is your breaks need to be shorter than your study sessions. There are some people that suggest 15 to 5, some 20 to 10, some 25 to 5. Guys, experiment with it. But you do want to build non-negotiable breaks into your study time. And so guys, here's how you do it. You grab your phones, you set a timer. I'm going to study for 20 minutes. So you got your earbuds in, you start the timer, you lock your phone, and you get it the stink away from you. And then you get to work. And then 20 minutes later, your phone tells you, okay, it's time to re-engage. It's time to step away. It's time to take a break. Then you grab your phone, you do what you need to do. Hopefully you go on a walk, you get up, you move around, and then you keep going. But guys, let this be your timer. And also set a timer for your break. Because you know darn well you're going to study for 20 minutes, grab your phone, and an hour is going to go like that. So you want to get into a rhythm. Then guys, finally this, scheduling. This brings up one of the hardest things that you are ever going to learn in college as it comes to your grades and studying. Guys, when you get to college, you are going to find that there are some classes that you are just not going to study hard for. And it's not because they're easy. It's because these classes are so hard that there's nothing you can do to get an A. But you can get a B just coasting by. And so you finally go, look, I'm never going to get an A. I'm not going to invest a bunch of time in it because it's time wasted. And I'm going to invest my time in the classes that I can get A's in. And I'm just going to get my B just by coasting by in this class. And I know that's foreign. At Orem High, everybody's got a 4.0, everybody's special, la-di-da-di-da. But guys, one of the things that you've got to learn to do is you've got to figure out how to manage your time. So when you sit down for this, to get ready for this test, guys, the first thing that you're going to do is you've got to figure out how much time do you need to spend studying. Understand, in this class, everybody should study. Everyone can do well in this class. College, it gets a little different. These principles still hold. But guys, you've got to figure out how much time you need to study. And if you're doing this Wednesday night, it's too late. So how do you know how much time you need to study? Guys, this is the last thing we're going to talk about and we're done. Guys, grab this. Here we go. So guys, what you want to do is this. Oh wait, no, not that. What you want to do is this. So guys, what I'd like you to do is just take a minute, if you would please, and not read over. So guys, just sort of at arm's length, give this a look and ask yourself this question. How is this organized? Let's do this first. How many sections are on the study guide? There's 3. What do the first 2 have in common? They say know. Guys, I would circle it. Definitions, to know. Concepts, to know. And then guys, finally, what is the active verb in the 3rd section? Do. Guys, I would propose to you that all of your science classes are knows and do's. Math classes tend towards the do's. History classes tend towards the knows. But guys, uniquely in science, there's a lot of knows and there's a lot of do's. So what do you do with that? And the answer is this. Again, guys, if you love this, use it. And I would encourage you to write this down where it is on your notes, on your study guide. Guys, if you love it, use it. If you hate it, throw it away. But if you perform poorly on a test and you come to talk with me and you're like, but Mr. Knappenberger, I studied for the test. And my question is going to be, how did you study? And if you sat there and blindly flipped through your notebook, my first response is going to be, next time try this, and then let's talk again. So guys, notice what we've got. We've got the knows on the left, we've got the do's on the right, knows and do's, and then we've got a focusing process and a relearning process. So guys, this is where the ideas that we just talked about come together. So first of all, this. What is the difference between focusing and relearning? And the answer is going to be right here in red. The difference between focusing and relearning is your friends. Guys, when you are focusing, you have to do this alone. If you make the mistake of doing this in a group, at best, it's going to be a waste of your time. At worst, it's going to hurt you. And you'll understand more in a minute. But then, guys, when you're getting into these relearning times, that's where community helps. Social constructivism. Get social, construct understandings. So, guys, why do we focus first? Because if you're going to get in groups and construct understandings, the first thing you need to know is, what do you understand? And guys, how do you figure that out? And for the knows, the answer is this. You are going to brain dump on a piece of paper. This has got to be on paper. This is research, y'all. This has got to be on paper. If you do it in your head, it's not as effective. So guys, what does this look like? What is this brain dumping process all about? And let me show you. Here's what you're going to do. So I've got my study guide, right? And by the way, guys, there will be study guides for every test in this class. This is the last one I'll hand to you. The rest of them are posted. This one's posted too. So guys, you got your study guide. You got a blank piece of paper. Here's what you're going to do. What is the very first know on the study guide? Qualitative. So here's what you got. This is how to, you qualitative, and you write down the word and then you put a dash and then you just start writing. And you're like, okay, what do I know about qualitative? And you're like, Qualitative data is one of the two types of data that we talk about in chemistry. Qualitative data talks about the qualities of an object or event. It is therefore recorded through senses and observation, and it does not involve numbers or measurements. If you can write something that flows, even if it's not my words, and obviously I way overdid that, but guys, you are going to quickly know in your heart of hearts, do you know what qualitative means? So if you write down qualitative and you're like, oh shoot, I remember talking about that, and qualitative is quality, so it's how good a measurement is. You're stuck. And guys, you know it. You know that you don't know qualitative. So guys, what do you do with that information? And the answer is this: you eliminate and you highlight. So what if you get to qualitative and you're like, hey, yo, I know this. Guys, if that's the case, cross it off the list. There's no reason to study something you already know. But what if you get to qualitative and you're like, oh, snap, I have no idea. Put a star next to it and keep going. So guys, there are what, 10 terms and concepts you need to know? If that takes you 2 minutes for each term and concept, you just spent your first 20-minute study cycle, and you have very, very specifically figured out what you do and don't know. You notice you've never even touched your binder yet? Guys, that's the first thing you've got to do. You've got to focus on what you do and don't know. Then you get rid of everything you know, and then what do you do with the stuff that you don't know as you're trying to relearn? Guys, the answer is flashcards. So what, it draws, sorry. I'm not in writing mode. This is going to freak out maybe. Guys, what you're going to do, yeah, hold on. This is going to jump on me. Guys, what you're going to do is you are going to make flashcards. So if you don't know and by the way, I've got some index cards here if you want them. Guys, you're going to go qualitative on the front, and then on the back, you're going to write down what you need to know about qualitative. But you're like, wait a minute, I didn't know anything. Where do I get the information? No, thank you, Henry. I'm sorry, this is rude, but no. The order that you did them, your ideas were good, your order was scary. So yeah, Henry's got great ideas. But guys, don't ever go to the internet to fill out your flashcards. Because where's the internet going to take you? Wikipedia. What are you going to find on Wikipedia? Guys, Wikipedia is populated by a whole bunch of really smart people that are trying to convince other smart people that they're smart. You don't want to go to Wikipedia because you're going to get an answer that's 7 paragraphs long and you have no idea what you need to know. So where do you go to fill out the back? Friends maybe, but guys, what's your first touch? Your class notes. Guys, all of this is in your class notes. So you go to your class notes and you're like, what did we say about qualitative? Because that's all you need to know. What if your class notes suck? Go to our website, get the notes. What if that still doesn't make sense? Watch the screencast. What if all that fails? Then friends. But guys, best case scenario, you're going to walk into your study group and you're going to have your stack of flashcards. And if you don't know any of the information on the back, you could turn and go, hey, Henry, let's study together. Do you know what qualitative means? And he's like, yeah, I know what it. And then what you do, guys, is you trade flashcards and you start quizzing each other. Right? Okay. So guys, that takes care of the no's. Now let's talk about the do's. And guys, here's the deal. If you study for the do's the way you study for the no's, it's better to not study. Seriously. If you study for the do's the way you study for the no's, don't study. Because you're hurting yourself. So how do you study for the do's? You rework your homework. But guys, obviously rework is the critical term here, so let's talk about it. So what does it mean to rework your homework? Well, guys, let me model this for you. So you get down here on the study guide for the do's, and it says density calculations and percent error. So you're like, okay, here's my density homework. That's a place that I can go to look at this. You've already done the homework. You got the questions. You've got the answers. You got your questions answered during class. You know you're doing this right. And so here's what you do. You go, okay, here's density homework. And okay, so mass divided by volume. And Knappenberger said that would be on the test, so I don't have to memorize it. And then I plugged in my numbers and okay, that I don't think that one's significant. And then I divided and there was 2. And then, okay, remember units, and that's good. And gosh, I remember this one was hard because the X was on the bottom, but he talked about how to solve it. And it was a volume, so it was milliliter. Okay, so that's, and then this one has the percent. And I went and I divided, and there's three digits there. And then I brought it down, and I never really understood where those numbers came from. And then there's 3 digits and 3 digits and 3 digits, but there's only 1 digit down here, and I'm pretty sure I understand that, and okay, I'm good to go. And guys, here's what happens. If that is you, you're going to sit down to the test on Thursday, and you're going to get to the last page of the test. And you're going to go, oh shoot, I don't know any of this. And then here's what I'm going to see. You are going to sit there for probably 20 minutes, and you are going to draw stars and moons and sunshine and happy trees, and you're going to have your little art thing going on. And then down at the very bottom of the test, you're going to write, I thought I understood this, and you're going to turn it in blank. Guys, I see that every day, every test. People do that. It's not a surprise. But you've got to tie that back to why you thought you understood it, but you didn't. And the reason you thought you understood it, but you didn't, is because you never knew if you understood it in the first place. Because any monkey can read correct answers and nod and go yes. What you need to do is cover up the answers and rework these problems. And you're going to find out quickly you don't understand the difference between subtracting and dividing with significant digits. You don't understand where these pieces of data come from, where you're doing percent error. And it's at that point, as you're working through these questions, that you're jotting notes to yourself. Where on earth did 8.96 come from? Why is there only 1 significant digit in the answer to the percent error, even though there's 3 in all the other numbers? And guys, you start writing down these questions, and then you get with a study group, and you go, can somebody please help me with this? But guys, study groups are not your only opportunity. These are your other opportunities. Reference your class notes. Check the screencasts, get in study groups. Guys, I'm hyper available. I would love to sit down and work with you. And then guys, now online resources. But I want to talk with you more about that in a minute, and then we're done. So guys, 2 thoughts. And then we're done. So guys, first of all, this. We understand that the focusing process happens on your own. Why? Because guys, what you need to know before you start studying is what is your need and how long is it going to take? And guys, you may get into this focusing process and you're like, shoot, I know all the terms and concepts, and I really am good at figuring out how to do these calculations. By the way, writing up the density lab will help you understand that. And you're like, you know what? I'm really fine. This is not a test I need to study for. And you don't. You spend your time doing other stuff. Or guys, maybe you go home tonight and you're like, shoot, I'm in trouble. But I figured that out Tuesday night, so I now have all day Wednesday, short day, to get with people and try to figure this stuff out. I know my gaps. I can get with other people and try to close these gaps. But then guys, let's talk about online stuff. Here's the deal. Do not go to Khan Academy to get help with chemistry. Khan Academy is great with math. That's why it was created. Khan Academy chemistry material is rubbish. Don't use it. So guys, where is the good science stuff? You may want to write this down. Guys, the very best science material is on a YouTube channel called Bozeman Science. And that's not my opinion. There's a teacher up at Bozeman High School. My brother's kids go to Bozeman High School. And guys, this guy teaches all of their AP. AP Chem, AP Bio, AP Physics, and AP Environmental. He teaches them all. And he started a YouTube channel to support his students. And the National Science Foundation found out about his channel and hired him away from Bozeman High School for 3 years to perfect his content. Guys, this is really good stuff in all science disciplines. Bozeman Science is where you want to go. So, guys, thoughts? If nothing else, guys, you can now say that one of your teachers took the time to help you do something that will help you succeed in school, study. You're no longer in that category of people that you're like, yeah, my teacher told me to study, but I have no idea how. So guys, use what you want, throw out what you don't like. But guys, if you're looking for a system, this works. So here's where we are. Guys, you've got your density labs. You can spend the rest of the day today writing up your density labs. Please remember they're due on Thursday at the beginning of class. But guys, as you're studying for your as you're writing up your density labs, you're studying for the test. So I would suggest that writing up your density labs would be a great thing to do. And guys, here is what the density lab write-up should look like, and I will freeze that on the screen. And so guys, you can write up your density labs. If you're done with that, you now have 20 minutes, 25 minutes, where you can just settle in and you can start the focusing process with the no's and the do's. So what does this look like? Guys, if you're going to start working on test study, you're doing this is the focus part. You're just quiet and doing. Guys, if you are working on your density labs, you're welcome to work quietly with the person next to you. But guys, we're going to be kind. There are some people in this room that are already done with their density labs and they need quiet to start the focusing process. So if you're working on the density lab, feel free to work with the person next to you. But it needs to be quiet enough that the people that are trying to study for the test have the space that they need to do that. So we're going to be our brother's keeper. So guys, if you need flashcards, here you go. They're all yours. Guys, I need to talk with Lily for a couple minutes, and then I am super available to you if you guys need my support or if you want me to edit labs. I'd love to do that. Guys, I will be here today after school. If you want to swing by during flex or after school, I'd love to edit with you. But guys, anything you need from me right now? Okay, the time is yours. Go get them. Oh, yep. What? You don't ask. Yeah, you just go. Yeah.